Guess you'll just have to look at me in full resolution, Vaxxer. There's the show notes for you. Oh, I didn't tweet. That's a good point. Let's do that right now. New tweet. Well, getting ready to record episode 136 of Switchcraft. And now I gotta fix Switchcraft because it's all... They screwed it up. As we used to say in the military, it's all ate up. Probably because it's not really a word. Talking about hashtag Nintendo. Ooh, let's try and type Nintendo. N-I-N, there we go. Nintendo. You know what? Crap. Here, let's copy that. Copy. Get rid of that. Delete the tweet. Delete the tweet. Instead, I'll open up Twitch, and I'll tweet from there, because that automatically includes my channel. Send link to channel. There we go. Twitter. Paste. There we go. Tweet. There we go. I tweeted. I tweeted. You can't tell me I didn't. There. If you guys could retweet that, that would be great. You know, I considered doing... Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. Something happened. Link! Link, man, that's why you gotta wait until I'm here. I almost missed it. Thank you very much for the 7 months of support. I really appreciate it. TF Wagner, because I did not get transcodes today, Twitch is stingy. I even restarted the stream once to try and fix it, and it did not work. Hey, Nintendork. Alright, let me set a timer. Where's my phone? Hey, Siri, set a timer for 5 minutes.
Your timer is set for 5 minutes.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Thank you very much, Link, for the 7 months of support. I really appreciate it, man. Next time, don't do it when I'm not here, man. I was downstairs doing stuff. I wasn't sitting here at the old table. Alright, let's get rid of that. Jump into the On the Air channel. In addition, open up Audacity. What do we got here? That's golf. Let me save the golf video. Close it. I don't need that open. Mr. Dippy, so, hey, so if I type exclamation point RT, it'll tweet for me? It's not that clever. I type exclamation point RT, and it gives you a link. If you click, then you can hit the retweet button. Itchy trigger finger. I got you. Starting to get a little curious. My son has not walked through the door yet. So I'm waiting for him to come home before we actually get started. But I thought I'd start by saying hello to all of you guys. How's my week been so far? It's been pretty crazy. Very, very crazy. We've had a lot going on around here, and it's just like there's things that are just sucking up all my time. There's motion at my front door. That's probably him. I will be right back. Actually, I'll probably just shout down to him. Hold on a sec. All right, I'm back. The bot does not have the ability to post on your Twitter unless you're RJS. No, it doesn't post to my Twitter either. I have to manually tweet. That's why I forget sometimes. I'm sorry, Vaxxer. Just put it in audio mode, I guess. I mean, then you don't get to experience the joys of this hat. Are you out there or something? All right. Let's shut off the music. And we got Audacity open. Let's turn off the sound. So now if alerts come through, how'd you know that that's the one I had, Fisto? I love Ring Video Doorbell, and that thing's great. I was at work one day, and my son came home from school, and he was supposed to be delivered to my school because I wasn't here, and they dropped him off here, by mistake. And I was at work still, and I got a message on my phone saying there's motion or somebody's at your front door. Hey, Kimberlina. And I opened up my phone and I said, hey, buddy, just go on in. I'll be home in a minute. And it was great. All right. This episode of Switchcraft is brought to you by patrons like Luigi Jr. Support Switchcraft and my other content for as little as $1 at patreon.com/runjumpstomp. Yeah, it's great. I'm very happy with it. Plus, we order just about everything from Amazon, and when things get here, I can see what time things were delivered. All right, I'll be right back. He wanted a Rubik's Cube. All right, there's the timer. Thank you very much, Link, for your 7 months of support. I appreciate it, man. I really do. All right. Episode 136 of Switchcraft is also brought to you by OP Seat. Head on over to opseat.com and use the coupon code RUNJUMPSIT for $10 off your gaming chair. Stop. Let's go ahead and save. It's patron. Sponsor. File. Save project as. What is going on? Oh, there we go. And we'll call this SC136. Switchcraft is recorded 3 times a week and let's try that again. Switchcraft is recorded 3 times a week at 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern on Tuesday, Thursday, and on Saturdays at whatever time I can get around to it. Make sure that you tune in live. Go over to twitch.tv/runjumpstomp, and you'll be able to chat with these awesome people. We've got Kodiak Moonwolf, Snow Goes Ham, Vaxxer, Captain Logan, DJ Windrunner, Aerslia, Kimbalina 66, Link 31254, who just subscribed for 7 months. Thank you for that. Mr. Dippy, Nintendork 2012, 8-bit Boomstick. Sorry, I messed up your name there. Fisto, Pudding, and TF Wagner, along with the lurkers. Thank you guys very much for hanging out with me while I record the show live. It makes it a lot more fun for me. Let's jump right into the news because we don't have any feedback today, but that's okay. If you're looking for ways to give me feedback, you can email me, runjumpstomp@gmail.com. You can tweet at me at runjumpstomp. By the way, if you do email me, you're going to want to keep it short. Like I did get an email this week, and it was really long. And I appreciate the feedback, but I can't read that whole thing on the air. So make sure that you keep it short. About tweet length would be fine. And same with the voicemails. If you call and leave a voicemail, that's 260-RUN-JUMP. That's 260-786-5867. I had somebody call the other day and leave a voicemail, and I listened to the whole thing, but it was a 5-minute voicemail. And I'm not going to play that on the air. But I do appreciate you guys calling in and emailing and tweeting when you do. It's really helpful. Other ways that you can get a hold of me is to join our Discord, runjumpstomp.com/Discord, and you get to hang out with all of those other awesome people. So make sure you head on over there. Mikey, what's up, man? You didn't miss it. I just started. Well, that's a lot more work for me, TF Wagner. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot about this. There we go. So the first story for today is that Monster Hunter World is not coming to the Switch. And it's been revealed that the reason is not because the Switch is underpowered or anything like that. It's because it's been in development for 4 years. And it takes a lot of work to pivot something that you spend 4 years working on and bring it to a new platform. So I don't blame Capcom for not bringing Monster Hunter World to the Switch. It's disappointing because they've had so many Monster Hunter games on the Switch, and then to suddenly go in the direction of Xbox and PS4 and leave the Switch behind, I think that that's really what the issue is. A lot of people feel almost jilted, but I think most people should understand that if you've been working on a game for that long, it's just going to take way too much work to easily port it, especially because I don't know what engine they used. If they used a proprietary engine, that's a lot more work that they would have to do in order to get the game running at a decent frame rate or acceptably on the Switch. Because yes, the Switch is a bit less powerful. Now, when we first had the Switch announced and people were like, oh man, we're going to see so many third-party games coming to the Switch. And I do think that we will. I really do think that we will, because the Switch has been selling really, really well. And there were a few developers, mainly the bigger ones, who said, you know what, we're going to wait. We're going to just see how things go. And at this point, the Switch has been doing so well. We'll talk about how well in just a second. It's been doing so well. Actually, we'll talk about it right now. Nintendo may have already outsold the Wii U at this point. So I'm just going to take a quick detour from my Monster Hunter discussion, and we'll take a look at this tweet from Takahashi Mochizuki. Hopefully I didn't butcher the guy's name. He's an analyst and tech reporter at the Wall Street Journal in Tokyo, and he says in his tweet, analyst says Nintendo might have sold 7 million Switch units in October to December globally, which would bring the life-to-date figure at more than 14.6 million, which is how many Wii U's the Nintendo Switch, or I'm sorry, that Nintendo sold in its entire lifetime. We won't find out until the end of the month because Nintendo doesn't report its third fiscal year quarter until the end of the month. So we're going to have to wait and find out. But that's pretty great news. Now, any third party company that is looking at the sales of the Switch and trying to decide if they're going to come, they had to have made that decision by now. By the way, I brought up the engine, and Pudding in chat says Monster Hunter World is developed on MT Framework, a 3D engine developed by Capcom. So it is a proprietary engine, and porting a proprietary engine to the Switches would be a lot of work. So I understand why they're going to be skipping the Switch this time. That doesn't mean we won't see games for the Switch. And these other companies who, they're bringing out games on the PS4 and the Xbox One, and they're not coming to the Switch. I don't think that that's going to be the norm for a while. And I think that not quickly, but soon-ish, that is going to start changing, because it takes a lot of time for a company to switch what they're doing, no pun intended, over to develop on a different platform. And many companies took that wait and see approach. You want to see how the Switch is doing. But having sold almost 15 million consoles in the first year is impressive as hell. And anybody still sitting on the sidelines is just a fool. Now, what do I not want to see? I don't want to see hastily made ports coming to the Switch. I think that would be bad for the Switch in general. I think it would be bad for those games. And that's what we've seen happen on Nintendo consoles in the past. We've seen so many times where, especially on the Wii, the Wii did so well. And, many developers, they took that wait and see approach on the Wii, because the GameCube did so poorly. And then the Wii sold like bananas. And so everybody was like, all right, let's start bringing games out for the Switch. And they didn't take into account the things that made, or not the Switch, but the Wii, the things that made the Wii unique, the things that made the Wii great. And all they usually, for the most part, brought were kind of garbage ports of their games to try and make a quick cash in. And that further reinforced this this notion that people who buy Nintendo consoles only buy Nintendo games. Well, it's kind of tough for the consumer to buy these games when they're poorly made ports, and then the companies, it's kind of a chicken and the egg thing going on. The consumer looks at the ports and they're like, well, those ports are kind of garbage. I don't want those. And so I'm not going to buy them. I'm just going to stick with the Nintendo stuff. And then at the same time, the consumer's waiting for good ports or games from third-party companies that are awesome to come out. And at the same time that they're waiting for that, the companies that make these other games, they're waiting for the consumer to buy the games that they've already made. And it's this chicken and egg catch-22. Like, we're both having this staring contest and nobody's blinking. Well, what we need is for the third-party companies to make games for the Switch that have the Switch in mind first. Yeah, sometimes you can port a game over, especially if it's in a third-party engine that is ubiquitous, like it's on the Xbox 360 and PS4 and Switch, like the Unreal Engine, or was it the other one? I can't remember which one. But an engine that's on all three, that makes it very easy to port things across. When you're using a proprietary engine and you just kind of slapdash something together, that's not how you want to do things, and that's going to cause problems. So I understand why there's a lot of people out there that are like, I want Monster Hunter World to come to the Switch, and guess what? I would too, but we're not going to get that. And sometimes we have to be okay with our console of choice not getting all of the games that we want. if somebody had a PS4 and they said, "Well, I really would love it if Nintendo would make Breath of the Wild for the PS4," the Nintendo fans would say, "Well, you got to buy a Switch." And so that's the kind of thing that it's okay for Nintendo to only make for their system, but when we're talking about other companies, people get upset about that. So I get why Monster Hunter's not coming. I think the real question that we want to ask Capcom is, how come Monster Hunter Double Cross for the Switch, which is a Switch game, it's a port of a 3DS game, but it's a Switch game, how come it's not been localized for the North American audience? That's a real question that I think would be great to answer, because we've got a lot of Switch owners who want to play a Monster Hunter game and they can't, and all they can do is look longingly over at the PS4 and Xbox One versions, and that's a little disappointing to them, especially when there is a Monster Hunter game on the Switch. It just hasn't been localized to English. So anyway, that's what we think. That's what I think we should ask Capcom. What do you think? Name Monster Hunter and save. But the best part of the Switch are the unintentional puns. That's true. It's like nonstop. Oh, you guys want to see something cool? That's kind of cool. I gotta change the wire because it's lighting up the whole shelf there, and it's just too bright. So I gotta get that out of there, and so there's still some changes that have to be made. But I like the way it lights up the sign a lot. I think it looks cool. But in the meantime, we'll leave it unplugged. All right, where were we? JapaneseNintendo.com recently found out that Nintendo has applied for an Animal Crossing trademark, when what really is happening is that Nintendo is renewing an Animal Crossing trademark. And it says here, Nintendo have applied for further Animal Crossing trademark in Japan for a variety of purposes, including software for a home video game machine, portable electronic game machine, and smartphone devices, as well as stuffed animals, game machine controls, board games, playing cards, protective card cases, trading card games, and much more. And they've got the full application. Make sure that you head on over to their website to check that out, especially if you speak Japanese, because I don't. And a lot of people are thinking, well, this means that we're going to get an Animal Crossing very soon. And it's possible. It is possible that that's true. But Nintendo is just refreshing their trademarks. It doesn't mean that we're going to be getting a new Animal Crossing game soon. It doesn't mean that Animal Crossing is coming to the Switch. I do think that we're going to get an Animal Crossing on the Switch. Probably we'll find out about that much later in the year, if not next year. But I don't think that that's what this... I don't think that correlation does not equal causation. Just because we see a trademark refiling doesn't mean that we're going to be getting that game. Nintendo does this all the time. They, 2 years ago, I think, or maybe it was last year, they renewed the trademark on the N64 controller. And everybody was like, well, maybe that means we're going to be getting an N64 Mini. And maybe we will. But maybe they're just going to be selling shirts with an N64 controller on it as a way to an extra revenue stream. Maybe they're just renewing the trademark, and there might not be anything here, but I hope that we get an Animal Crossing for the Switch. Vaxxer says we don't need Animal Crossing for the Switch. I don't think that that's true. I think that, having played Animal Crossing New Leaf on the DS, and that was actually my first Animal Crossing game. And then on first glance, the Animal Crossing Pocket Camper game, I thought, wow, man, this is all I need. I don't need anything else. Yeah, I lost interest in that game real fast. And I also don't like playing with just using a touchscreen. I very much prefer traditional controls. So, I think that I do think that it is necessary to bring a full-fledged Animal Crossing game to the Switch. However, I do hope that there is some kind of cross-platform play where you can do something in the mobile game and bring that into the original game. And Vaxxer's now pointing out that he was being sarcastic, and I know he's being sarcastic, but the reason I caught that little piece of information that he said is because there are a lot of people out there who say we don't need an Animal Crossing game because we have it on our phones. And while your phone is a great place for an Animal Crossing game, I think the Switch is a better place for it. Vaxxer says RJS is an old man. So I forgive him for not knowing what Kappa means. I know what Kappa means. I'm not that old. I am that old. And save. The barrier of Animal Crossing for me, it'd be the boring character models. I mean, I understand why you think they're boring, and I do agree that they're boring, but the gameplay in itself is pretty fun. Mikey be playing. It is actually really enjoyable. For a long time, when I looked at an Animal Crossing game, I said, that seems like it's something for kids, and it's not really for me, and I'm not interested in this. And then finally, I got it for Christmas or my birthday or something from somebody who knew I liked games and liked Nintendo stuff. And once I started playing it, I was like, man, this is really enjoyable. And then my wife was playing it on her DS and my son was playing it on his DS. And, we'd all sit next to each other on the couch and we'd be like, I've got peaches. Do you got like bananas and stuff? And we would trade stuff. They should update Animal Crossing and bring our Miis in instead of the villager. I don't think so, Captain Logan. I think that I would personally like the Miis to just go away. Get rid of them. It does remind me of a game for kids, but the gameplay is really fun. All right, gas up your cars, everybody. Get your cleats on, and we're gonna be playing some soccer car ball, because Rocket League support, or at RL support, has tweeted that they are working on cross-platform parties. Now, what does that mean exactly? If you've not played Rocket League is, I think it was the first game to have cross-platform play between the Switch and the Xbox and PC. Now, before that, it was PS4 could play with the PC, but it wasn't Switch. It wasn't two different consoles. I'm pretty sure that Rocket League was that first game that had two different consoles able to play together. Maybe Final Fantasy XI, but I'm not sure. Now, that being said, when I say you can play together, that means that if I make a game, or not make a game, but if I start playing Rocket League, I could be matched up potentially with people who are playing on other platforms. That's great. But what if I, on the Switch, want to invite, let's say, my son who's playing on PC to a party so that we can be on the same team and stay on the same team together? Now that makes things a little more difficult, especially if my son or, a friend is playing on an Xbox One. So maybe I'm playing on the Switch, my son's playing on PC, and we've got a buddy who's playing on Xbox One, and we're trying to get a team together in Rocket League, and currently there's no way to do that. However, this tweet by @RLSupport, I'll read the tweet here. It says, "Hey there, we are actively working on cross-platform party support for a 2018 release." Now, that could be any time. We have no idea when that is going to be. It might not even be the first game to have it. I know that Microsoft is working on the same thing, having cross-platform grouping with the Better Together update for Minecraft, so that we can get the Switch and Xbox One players playing together on the same server in Minecraft. So Psyonix is not the only company working on this. We've also got Microsoft working on it. I'll tell you who's not working on it is Sony. Right now, Sony's kind of in the lead in the console space, and so they are kind of being jerks and they don't want to work with anybody. They pretending that they need to protect their user base from those horrible Nintendo people. But I'm pretty excited for this because I know that sometimes I want to play Rocket League and my son doesn't have it yet. He has it on PC and he doesn't really see the need to buy it again for the Switch. But that means that we can't play together. We can play against each other by accident, but nothing on purpose. And so I really hope that this is something that happens sooner rather than later. But with the vague 2018 as an answer, I guess we're just going to have to be patient and wait to find out what happens. File, save. Well, I don't think, Fisto, that's a good question. I don't think that this would have voice chat. It would just allow you to be on the same team. So I certainly don't think that if I'm connected on Rocket League on the Switch, that I would then be able to use voice chat to talk to somebody who's playing on an Xbox One. I don't think that that's something that would happen. I think we would have to use Discord in that case. So why would you need cleats in a car? Traction, man. Traction. Come on, I can't believe. What kind of noob question is that? That's like somebody not knowing what kappa means. Just kidding if you don't know what kappa means. Do you think this will allow us to trade cross-platform? I don't know. They might not allow that because there are things that are exclusive to the platforms. You know what I mean? Only tractors have traction. All right, here we go. I personally have not played Doom on the Switch, but by all accounts, Panic Button has done a great job porting a very high speed, graphically intense game to the Switch. They brought it down to 30 frames per second, and everybody says that they did a great job. Outside of the fact that it doesn't have motion controls, which is why I won't buy it. That being said, Panic Button, they said that they are excited to be working with Machine Games and Bethesda to bring Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, to Nintendo Switch system. So it looks like Doom was their test, and now it's official that Panic Button is the company that is bringing the new Wolfenstein game to the Switch. I think that this is great news because Panic Button clearly knows what they're doing. Now, how is it that they get a game like Doom running on the Switch? It's because they use what's called variable resolution. At least that's what I call it. And that means if there's a lot of things on the screen, a lot of things for the game to draw, rather than drop frame rate, which is what would happen if there's too many things on the screen. I'm just go back and play an old game on the on the NES or something, and if there's a lot of sprites on the screen, you would have that slowdown that it was famous for. Well, if instead of slowing down the frame rate, what they do instead is they drop the resolution down dynamically to whatever it needs to be in order to maintain that 30 frames per second frame rate, which is very, very important in a first-person shooter. A first-person shooter is incredibly, what's the word I'm looking for? Requires a lot of accuracy, and if the way that your cursor is moving across the screen, or really that the screen is moving across the cursor, if that's not predictable, then you're going to miss shots and you're going to get frustrated and you're not going to like the game and you're going to give up and you're going to be unhappy and maybe you won't buy a game from that developer in the future. So it's very good that Panic Button is going to be bringing this game to the Switch because they clearly know what they're doing. Now, I am not going to be buying this game on the Switch because I don't think that Panic Button is going to be bringing those motion controls forward. I want to play this game, but without having the gyroscopic aim, I think I'd be better off playing it either on the PS4 or even better on my PC because that's where I have the best control. Now, if Panic Button or Bethesda decided to implement gyroscopic aiming, then I would totally change my mind and I would definitely buy it on the Switch or the PS4 if the PS4 had gyroscopic aiming, because the PS4 can also do that. It's the only platform that can't do gyroscopic aiming is the Xbox One. The PS4 has the 6-axis controller. The Switch has the Joy-Cons with the gyroscopes in them. The PC has a Steam controller with gyroscopes in it if you want. Plus, they can use the PS4 gyroscopes as well if they want. So the only platform that doesn't have gyroscopic controls is the Xbox One. And yet developers just aren't using it. And it drives me bananas. I can't stand it because it's such a great way to play. I played all of Doom on my Steam controller on my PC, and that is an incredibly fast-paced game. And I used the right thumb pad to look around real fast, but when I wanted to aim, I just tilt the controller just a little bit, and it lets you aim almost like you're using a mouse. It's really good. So again, I'm excited that Panic Button is doing this. I just hope that they've learned that we want gyroscopic controls because that is the best way to play. I like that better than mouse and keyboard personally. It's more comfortable for me. I guess so, Snow. Oh, sorry, Arisley. How's it going? H Ken Legacy says, Run Jump Stomp, do you think Discord is even in Nintendo's vision at all, though? No. No, I don't think, like, look, I've said it before. It would be fantastic if Nintendo just said, hey, you guys over at Discord seem to have things going on pretty well. How about we just hire you to do our, put an app on the Switch that runs in the background? That would be awesome. But Nintendo, they don't do what we want. Nintendo they decide what we want and then they give us that. And sometimes they're right and sometimes they're wrong. And in the case of voice chat, Nintendo has shown me over and over that they lack the vision to and the capacity to understand what the community wants out of voice chat. They just don't understand it. I'm not sure why that is. Some people are saying, well, they're a conservative Japanese company. Okay, but Sony's also a Japanese company. Sony understands it. Nintendo just doesn't seem to get it. And for a long time, people would say, well, they're just trying to protect the kids. But parental controls would do that just as easily. Captain Logan says Nintendo wants to control all the knobs and dials with their products. That's true. That's true. Which is too bad. You know, sometimes you give up, you open things up and really amazing things happen. And if everything's closed off, it's tough. I think if Nintendo would put hands on Discord, they wouldn't make Discord free. I'm not saying that Nintendo should buy Discord. I'm saying Nintendo should hire Discord to make, or just say, hey, Discord, you want to make our voice chat? And in that case, Nintendo is running the servers, and I mean, sometime this year we're supposed to get the paid online service anyway. Voice chat is going to be part of that. Right now it's free, but that's just temporary. Yeah, of course it would be part of their paid service. But I mean, so is Sony's thing, and so is Xbox's thing. You know, if that makes sense. All right. Well, since the last time I recorded, I've done a couple of things. First off, I got a review code for Super One More Jump. This is I don't want to say endless runner. That was my initial impression, but after playing a little bit more, it's not an endless runner. And so I'm working on a review for that. It's going to take some time. But it is a game where you are just like a little block and you are running along as a block. And if you hit a button, the block will kind of do a flip over, and you can gravity's kind of weird. You can kind of orbit things, and it's really interesting. Just Google Super One More Jump so you can see what it's like, and I'll have a review sometime soon-ish. The other thing that I've been doing is I was able to interview Desmond Wong of the Gentle Bros for the podcast, and he is the head of the Gentle Bros, and they made the game Cat Quest for the Switch. So I'm going to go ahead and shut up. I'm going to play that right now, and after the interview, we'll wrap up the show. Okay, we'll do that. Actually, we'll rename that interview next. Save. And obviously, I'm not going to sit here and play the interview so you guys can hear it while I sit here and just sit here. So make sure you download the show so that you guys can hear the interview as well. But let me... Actually, I'll just import it later. I'll just import it later. It's a shame because you saw a really cool Discord logo mixed with a Switch logo. Yeah, they kind of do go together. That's true. That is all the time that we have for today. If there's a story that I missed or a topic that you would like discussed, please let me know at one of the ways that I mentioned at the beginning of the show. If you're looking for ways to support the show, head on over to runjumpstomp.com/support. There's a bunch of different ways that you can support the show. The easiest way is just to share it with a friend. But I do want to take just a second and talk about Patreon. When Patreon did their shenanigans last year, I think it was November or December, I'm pretty sure it was November, where they decided to try and charge the patrons instead of charging the creators. I lost a whole bunch of patrons, and I just want to say thank you to the people who stuck around, and I totally understand why people left. But if you're listening and you did not know that Patreon changed their mind after the backlash from the community, they went back to the old way. So, if you want to come back, that would be awesome. And if not, I totally understand as well. Anyway, thank you guys for supporting the show. it really makes a difference. It really does. Also, thank you to Noteblock and Tom Winter for the use of your music. I really appreciate it. Make sure you head over to their YouTube channels and give them a subscription there. And comment in one of their videos that you heard about their music on Switchcraft. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys on Thursday. Have a good one. Bye bye. Yes, that is NES Golf. I just finished recording the footage, the gameplay footage for my NES Golf video, Snow. Mr. Dippy, you got a 2.5 hour drive tomorrow morning. You've been saving that interview. Well, the interview is only about 20 minutes, Mr. Dippy. TF Wagner, I'm not that impressed with the Wi-Fi on the Switch. I get better connections with iDevices. Yeah, I was talking to a guy from Lord NBZ. He's part of the This Nintendo Life podcast, and he was saying that he was really disappointed with the Wi-Fi that the Switch uses. I really don't play my Switch online very much unless it's docked. I just don't. I don't really have a reason. Most of the time, if I'm playing in portable mode, it's usually just single player games, that kind of thing. Generally, if I'm going to play an online game, it's docked. So I really don't run into that issue, but I've heard other people complain about it too. So I get what you're saying. Mikey be playing. Discord has so much hype right now. They had a huge booth at PAX. It was a full all day. Nintendo would be smart to partner. Nintendo would be smart to partner, but it's never going to happen. And thank you, Rock Roberge, for that comment, man. Snow Goes Ham. I don't even get Switch Wi-Fi one floor below, but I can live with it, I guess. I will make it harder once we get more online services to play in public areas. Captain Logan. Nintendo Network maintenance scheduled for later today. So from 5:50 to 7:30, network services will be unavailable. I would put that in the show, Captain Logan, but that's today. Most people are going to download it like tomorrow or something. So I think that most people won't need to know this until after the fact, or they won't hear about this until after the fact. Yeah, I have a LAN cable, TF Wagner. Yep. When we redid this room, actually, here, let me put on music. There. When we redid the upstairs and I built my studio up here, I made sure that the contractor put in Ethernet in this room. So I've got Ethernet that comes up, and my PS4, my Switch, and my PC are all on Ethernet, so that I can make sure that I have the best possible quality when I'm streaming. Well, no, I don't think that they're upgrading servers or anything, Captain Logan. I think that they did this like a month ago too. Yeah, see, it even says in the whatever the news story that you sent, it says another round of online maintenance scheduled by Nintendo. So it seems like this is something that's happening more often. It's funny that we don't notice it most of the time, though. Hey, Kid Curdy, you made it, but we just finished up. I'm all done recording. Now I'm just chatting with people. Now I'm just chatting. Just chatting. Whoa, there's something on my head. Get that off of there. There we go. Yeah, sorry, Kid Curdy. Updating the Norton antivirus. Alright, let me hang that up. All right, let's see who we can host, because I got a million things to do. Captain Logan, I just wondering if they do this in small stints to bring some servers offline while they beef up their farm. I don't know. You know who does an amazing job at servers and stuff like that and updating their game, that kind of thing, is ArenaNet. ArenaNet, the makers of Guild Wars 2, like, they patch games and they do server maintenance, and we never, like, when I was playing that game, never was it down. Like, I could always play the game all the time. They had such a fantastic way of dealing with the stuff that nobody else could do. Like, World of Warcraft was down every Tuesday. Every Tuesday you can't play the game. See you later, Link. Thanks for coming by, man. Thank you again for the 7 months of support. All right, people are leaving. I'm going to find somebody to host before everyone vamooses so I can send a larger raid team over. Following. All right, who is streaming? All right, we're going to send people over to Peachy because she's awesome and she's playing Guild Wars 2 right now, which I just mentioned. So /raid AURORA